John Kianda is back, and we want to dive right into Harambee Stars. Francis Kimanzi appointed, Hope ikarudi alafu game ikachezwa, and as Swila said, it was a yawning stadium. Ticket ilikuwa 200 bob. I remember tukijaribu kupiga debe pale kwenye radio watu waende, but Swilas called it was a yawning stadium. Hakukuwa na watu. Let's take a look at that game where tulikuwa pale tu tuliona tu stars.
A difficult game for us. I think a better first half. You know, we did a good job. Some good opportunities to kill the game early, but I think we waited for too long until we were punished on it.
A very difficult match. Kenya have a very good team, strong team. They start the match, pressure us, very, very strong, but we stay together. We stay with the mind on the match.
There you have it. Kianda, what do you think of that game? He said Kimanzi's opening statement was pale akihojiwa akasema a tough game. Should the game be tough against an opponent like Mozambique?
I don't know what Isaac Swila will write on his editorial comment. Because Wabuyendi alisema Umutai imerudi kwa ball. We were supporting Kimanzi big time. But I have to say, I mean, Eliud Kipchoge winning that race, breaking the world record the record being broken by Bridget Chepkosgei, Lawrence Sharon also winning the main marathon, then Harambee Stars. No, it's work in progress. Transition takes time. As I said, let's give them time. But from the look of things, it transition kind of struggle. Someone maybe somewhere doesn't know exactly how to make things work with the national team. I'll say this, the same old faces we're seeing them in the national team, that has been happening for quite some time. If you're transitioning, we need to see new faces that qualify, that merit to be on those teams. We've seen a couple of players being reintroduced in the team, especially after being dropped in the first friendly match. I think we played against Uganda. We played well against Uganda, but yesterday tulikuwa chini against Mozambique big time. So I have to say it's work in progress, but from the look of things, someone somewhere doesn't really know exactly how to transition this team. Because if you look at the under 20, they reached the finals of the Sekafa. The under 15 also reached the final.
Did very well, yeah.
So there's some good project happening with the junior teams, but the national team is stagnant.
So there's no integration?
No integration at all. Maybe they need to get some lessons from how the under 15 is performing and under 20. But vile nimesema ni kurudia the same mistakes. Same mistakes. There are players in the Kenya Premier League who are performing better than those international players who are called in the national team. Why waste money? Calling those guys to come, then they just waste the UPS tickets. The federation is broke. They've said that they don't have money. Utilize this player that you can monitor week in, week out. As a national team head coach, what you need to do, I think that's what Fabish used to do. Go talk to these guys one-on-one. I know the federation is broke. Hawezi mtuma Makuyu Kimanzi enda tembelea uenda tembelea umfanya nini. But those players who are around, we have seen some rising stars who can be mentored and be useful to the senior team. So according to me, we need to borrow some lessons from the under 15, the under 20. Sitaki kusema Umutai kwa team, but it's work in progress that has to be done in the right way. You watch
Swila, give us a preview of what the editorial comment will look like.
You see, I want to disagree with the Kianda on one thing. I don't think transition needs time. Kimanzi knows Kenya's football like the back of his hands. He's been here coaching Mathare season long. Okay, let me begin. He's been a player. He's played the game with Mathare. He knows Kenyan football inside out. He's been coach of Harambee Stars, I think on 2 different stints. Maybe this is 3rd stint. He was Minye's right-hand man with the journey through to Cairo and back, right? So he was part of that technical bench. He's also a coach in the Kenyan Premier League prior to taking up this job. So in essence, he should have hit the ground running. He knows the mistake.
Or understands the system.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. And again, on record, I opposed this appointment. But I said, yes, I respect it, but I disagree with it. I still disagree, and I maintain that Kimanzi is not the man to take Harambee Stars forward. Yeah, nothing personal against him, but I don't think he's the right man to take us forward. Because from what I've told you, that analogy, he knows what needed to be fixed. He doesn't need any more time. Now, again, and I said it even after the AFCON, and Kianda's alluded as much, you don't just need to call somebody because he's a professional player or because he plays overseas. Juana Cheza Ngambo. La hasha. If I were the coach, at times you need to be brave enough and make those unpopular decisions. I think Victor Wanyama's time in that team is up. From the qualifiers, the two-leg against Ethiopia, he was poor. In AFCON, he was poor. Let's call a spade a spade. And even if you go to big soccer nations like France, Brazil, you are poor, you have good poor form, you will be on the bench. Yes, leaders as a captain, but from the bench. It's not a must you start. It's not a must you clock 90 minutes. Because people are playing for the flag. You are playing for a country. So let those young boys who are hungry and determined play for 90 minutes. And again, success does not just come overnight at the national team. What will help us, the rising stars and the emerging stars Kianda is talking of? You cannot have a national team that is doing well when the league is dysfunctional or the league is about to crack. Right now, we saw Sony Sugar give walkover to Leopards in Awendo at home, remember? All these clubs are broke. They are crying left, right, and center. Now, if these players are not honoring fixtures, if these players are not going for their training schedules every morning, then we expect the national team to perform well. You go to these clubs, there are no junior sides. We talked about the CAF licensing rules, which came into force 4 years ago. All these clubs, the National League, that's the KPL clubs, and the second tier leagues, that's the National Super League, they must all have the junior sides. How many of them have? Those coaches that are handling these sides, do they have the requisite credentials? Some of them don't, more so in the second tier. You are talking about the facilities. They are not there. So if the systems are not working in Raburu, the national team cannot perform magic when these coaches are not paid. We've had the issue of referees are not up to scratch. They are not paid. You're asking clubs to pay them. Paying referees, that should be a role of the federation. Now, if a club can't afford maybe to hire a match venue or a training ground, then you ask them to now go pay Kianda 8,000 shillings after officiating that match. Where are they going to get them? Right now, we don't have a broadcast sponsor for the league. We don't have a title sponsor for the league. But if you hold it there, I've been in this game for so long. 5-6 years ago, we had a broadcast sponsor that was pumping lots of money. Then we had a gaming firm that came on board as a title sponsor. There are lots of money in football. Yeah. But you walk to the KPL secretariat and ask them now, can you show us what this money did and the roadmap you made back then that should take us forward in the next 8 years, which is today? Nothing on paper, nothing to say, right? All they did, Kianda, was to travel the world, going to South Africa for some useless seminars. Because if you go Raburu today, RMS sends you to South Africa on an event, you should come back and give us your report on what we think should take us forward. Yeah? What did they do? Because they should have been very aggressive in marketing KPL as a product. But they didn't do that. That's right. I'm told we have 6 minutes, but maybe you can make a comment before you look at Omushambulis. Maybe
to play the devil's advocate here, kidogo to see everything that Swila said, partly. Who is supposed to be the biggest sponsor when it comes to sports? Government.
The government.
The government, yeah. Do we have the right people in those positions who see the vision that Swila is talking about? I'm not trying to pinpoint names na nini. Sindio? Rally nakuja next year Kenya. Sindio? Sina kama. What was pumped to make sure rally merudi Kenya? Motorsport might not be the biggest. No, all the tourists will come. It's a big thing for Kenya. But the most loved sports in Kenya are suffering. Swilas talked about the Kenya Premier League. Ni shida. Hii league hata hatujui kama itaisha. Si ndio? In those our leaders ambao kwa hizo respective positions, whether you're the club chairman, whether you're the club secretary general, whether you're the sports minister, are you seeing whatever people are talking about? Because at some point itafika mahali tasema tu ni Harambee Stars copy paste kitu tuliongea last time. Let's move on.
And that's what probably will do, because the same results,
the same things that are happening. Malkia strikers, look at them. They're making us proud. Bitoka will step aside, si ndio? After amekuja kubreak dominance in Cameroon alikuwa anataka kuleta, si ndio? Are we seeing the vision that Bitok had when he went to Rwanda and gave them a 10-year game plan? This is what I can do. And we saw how Rwanda emerged when it comes to volleyball. Look at basketball. Tushasahau hiyo timu. Ilifika AFCON final. Sindio? Tushawasahau story yake. Tutamepigishwa lap hapa town kidogo. Tushasahau hiyo story. Yani we are just a reactive nation. I'll not be shocked even history ya Kipchoge. Tutasahau, tutapita tu tukienda. Atakuja homecoming nini, apewe medals kadhaa nini, but we'll forget the main, how we need to get more early Kipchoges, how we need to motivate these young players. The reason why the emerging stars and rising stars are performing well is because they are playing with passion. Yani wanajituma. Unaona finals za school games na nini, bila watu wanajituma. Mkate na soda ndio lunch yetu hapo na nini. Lakini kujituma because they have passion. Maana hii passion ikikuja kuwa killed na people who have no vision on how to improve them and develop sports, tutafanyaje?
There's a problem.
The problem.
Yeah, well, we hope something will be done. Tumeimba. Hata Joseph Masaba pia anasema the same old song, Kenyan football national team, it's just a shame. Hivyo anasema.